This video is about how long it takes to recover from FAI hip impingement, and I'm going to share about that from my own personal story about going from 2011 when I was in a lot of pain to 2014, 2015 where I was not in pain and I was actually working on, okay, how much can I improve my hips? Can I do the splits? Can I do all the different types of splits? How can I optimize that? So I'm going to share my story and then I'm going to tie it back into what that means for you if you are someone who's dealing with hip impingement, FAI, or anything in that realm. So back in 2011, I had a really bad back injury, and this was probably one of the lowest points in my life because I couldn't put my own socks and shoes on. I couldn't brush my teeth bending over the sink. That was intensely painful in my back. I couldn't lay on my back and let my right hip, my knee drop out to the side. I would get a very extreme sharp pinch. I couldn't do any of the things that I wanted to do in the weight room. My girlfriend was taking care of me during that time for about a month, helping me do all these things. And what I realized, I did a couple things. I found a teacher who kind of became my guru. It was a deep tissue therapist named Phil Pedichenko in Encinitas, California. He's a chiropractor and he had over 30 years of experience working on people's bodies. And he also was a deep practitioner at working on his own body. So I don't know if I had not found Phil, had not found this teacher, that my progress, it definitely wouldn't have been as fast, and I don't know if I could have fully come out of it without someone guiding the process. So finding this teacher, he helped me realize how in debt I was to my body. I had always thought, I'm an athletic guy, sure I've got some pain or whatever, but my body's not messed up. But by him working on me and pointing out to me all the different areas that my body was just too tight, too dense, too knotted, I started to come to the realization that, oh my God, I thought I was this like stud athlete, and actually, I've been getting into debt to my body for years of playing sports and intense weightlifting and stuff like that, and not doing stretching or tissue work. So finding my teacher started my journey from the low point upward, in an upward trend. I started making progress. I was feeling better. My back was feeling better. He was doing work on me. I was doing work on myself. And for the first year, it was incremental progress up. I also did a lot of other things in the first year. I started up a yoga practice. I found Kelly Starrett, Mobility Wad, Kit Laughlin, Pavel Satsulin, all these different teachers and gurus of the body. And I listened to all of them, and I tried everything that they recommended. I would spend hours in the gym on my own, just tinkering on my own body. Primarily I would go to Phil, but I was studying all these other things as well, and progress was headed in a good direction. Sometime around 2012, I was feeling kind of confident, feeling kind of cocky that I had made all this progress, and I wasn't feeling much pain in my body, and I was trying to do intense Olympic weightlifting at the time. So very heavy max effort snatches, clean and jerks, heavy squatting, heavy deadlifting, things like that. And boom, I had a very major setback, kind of another injury, not as bad as the first one, but it kind of woke me up to like, okay, you've made some progress, buddy, but you're not all the way to the final goal of crossing the threshold of, you have a normal, healthy, pain-free, symmetrical body. So after that setback, the next major kind of milestone for me was finding meditation. And what that allowed for is being able to do much deeper work. And what I mean by that is during this first year, I was stretching, I was massaging, but my mental headspace was not calm and focused and centered while I was doing all that. I was just kind of going through the motions, and that was enough to start moving me in a positive direction. But when meditation and just training my mind to be very focused while I was stretching, while I was doing tissue work, while I was working out in the gym. It stopped becoming working out in the gym and it became a movement practice for me, which is a very different mindset shift. It goes from like, how much weight can I lift, to how skillfully and gracefully can I lift these weights, and how skillfully can I stretch, how skillfully can I do everything. So bringing a lot of mindfulness was a big breakthrough for me in 2012. In 2013, so progress kept going up incrementally. It was stair step. It would be like up, stall, but it was in an upward trend. In 2013, I had an opportunity to start teaching mobility work at an awesome gym in San Diego called CrossFit ATR. And the really cool thing about this is every single day of the week, I got to either do deep tissue work on someone, or teach mobility one-on-one with someone, or teach mobility classes to large groups of people, or just randomly throughout the day I would experiment and torture the fellow coaches in the gym, Arturo and Manny and Tom. And they were very generous in allowing me to put them through all kinds of crazy stuff for their hips and other parts of their bodies. But they were my guinea pigs, and all of the athletes at ATR were my guinea pigs. And this was the time where I kind of had, I reached a threshold of like, my hips felt totally normal. You know, I still had this underlying bony impingement going on in my right hip, but because I had perfected the tissue quality in and around the hip, it didn't impair me in any way. I could run, squat, snatch. And I even started in these years getting interested, okay, so I've kind of come out of the problem without surgery. How can I optimize that? How can I, how far can I take my hip range of motion? Can I do the front splits? Can I do the middle splits? Can I do the pancake splits? How deep can I get in all those? Can I sit in lotus position? And I did that just because I wanted to prove to myself that it wasn't a bony problem, that it's something that I could keep working on and improving. So that was kind of my journey from this low point where I was massively in debt to my body, the various big setbacks that came, finding my teacher, finding meditation, starting to do deep work, not shallow work. I was doing shallow work in the beginning, but then I turned a corner and started doing deep work. And the cool thing is I got to validate all of my ideas on hundreds of other people, which helped me to discover new techniques. They gave me good ideas that I tried on my body, and then I would experiment on someone else. So this was completely invaluable. And then starting to get interested in how far could I take it with the splits and stuff like that is kind of the phase that I'm in now, which is why I make videos about splits and things like that, because I just want to prove to myself and to others that, hey, if you get an FAI diagnosis, if your doctor says there's something wrong with your bones, it may be something that needs to be addressed, but it may not. I've got some pretty messed up things going on in my bones, cam impingement, subchondral cysts, labral damage, and I'm still pain-free and working on my splits. So what does this all mean for you, really? I guess there's a couple take-home lessons. One is, I invite you, wherever you're starting, wherever you're at, you might not be as low as I was, you might be lower, who knows? But think of it as, okay, I'm just in debt to my body. How do you get out of debt? You pay it off consistently. You can pay it off faster by doing better work, by doing deep work, being very mindful and undistracted while you're working on your body. It's very helpful to find a teacher or a guide, someone who's been through it who can guide you in the process, or someone who's a very skilled body worker who can assist what you're doing on your own. And don't be afraid to set big goals. A blessing in disguise for me is that it wasn't until over here that I actually got x-rays and MRIs on my hip. Back in the beginning, I was told, like, look, you have FAI, you have all the signs and symptoms of it, you need surgery. And I was like, let me try to figure it out on my own. If I had gotten my x-rays and MRIs and seen kind of what was wrong in my hip over here, I don't know if I ever would have set big goals, and I don't think I ever would have kept working on it. I probably just would have been like, okay, I'll just get surgery. The doctor's telling me I need to get surgery, I'm just going to get surgery. But what I'd recommend for you as a take home is set a big goal. Like if you're a runner, a distance runner, say that in a year or two or whatever, you're going to run your ultra marathon. If you're a martial artist, you're going to be able to do your high kicks and things like that. If you're an athlete, you're going to be able to squat. Now, you have to be mindful of your big goals. You can't just bully your way through them. You have to learn to listen to your body is one of the, I'd say that's the number one lesson, is listen to your body. Your body is the boss. As you're stretching and as you're doing tissue work and as you're lifting weights and as you're running, if your body gives you signals that something's off, even on a very subtle level. And this is something you'll get better and better at learning. But learning to listen to your body, setting big goals, finding a teacher, doing deep, conscious, deliberate work, deep practice, all that is going to be really helpful for you on your own journey out of FAI, out of hip impingement, out of back problems, hip problems. So this is probably my most colorful work yet. I hope it was valuable for you. If you have any questions, leave me a comment, shoot me an email, and talk to you next time.